Alright, welcome back to another Kuma Style review. I'm your host, as per usual, TJ Duckett, and what we have today is TFC Toys' Photron, which is their updated take on Reflector. Really cool in the fact that it turns into a DSLR camera instead of the old school regular film SLR style camera. Yeah, really modern take, and let's get started with taking a look at this. You will see in the middle there is a bigger bot and then two smaller bots, rather than what we're used to seeing in the three bots that were pretty much all the same size and aesthetic, minus the middle one having the circle to holster the lens in. So let's go ahead and first introduce them by name. The first one over here is AE Lock. The middle one, the big guy, the leader, Optic Zoom. And this one here on the end is High Reso. So, you know, AE Lock, Auto Exposure Lock, High Resolution, Optic Zoom. It is pretty creative naming because of the fact that they're all things to do with a DSLR camera or an SLR camera in general. So that's pretty cool, and I'm excited to view this, or review this as a photo enthusiast even. So, also looking here, you'll notice that focusing in, we have this Canon piece, or I guess photon blaster, whatever you want to call it. It's obviously the lens of the camera as well, but it's nice that it comes with a stand or whatever too. I do want to make a quick note, in case I do forget to notate it. The blaster actually, it of course comes apart to become the lens, as you can see right there, pretty simple. But this part becomes a backpack for, before I forget his name, High Reso over here. And you'll notice that the two smaller bots, they have these guns. Oops, while I'm knocking everything down, we'll go ahead and leave AE Lock shield over there. The feet are kind of tight, so it's a bit of a punk to get them to stand up once you knock them down, but going ahead and taking a look at these, just have to remember how to put them in now. Yeah, there we go. They each just go in like so. Okay, and from there they flip up. Whoops. Alright, and they attach to his back here to go ahead and give him a backpack with the, cannons up and things like that. Kind of like an Onslaught even, if you want to think Bruticus. So that's pretty cool, I like that. But let's go ahead and check out these figures individually. I'm actually going to look at High Reso and AE Lock by themselves, because these two are the exact same figures with a few minor details, but in terms of articulation and things like that, they do share the same qualities. So let's go ahead and zoom in some here. And alright, once again, on the left I have AE Lock, on the right I have High Reso. Alright, so taking a look at the articulation of these figures. Alright, heads aren't on ball joints, but they do have the left to right swivel. Shoulders are on ball joints, so that's really cool, while a box just randomly falls in the background. Sorry for the distraction there. No bicep swivel, unfortunately, but they do have the elbows on ball joints, so you do get some swing there. No wrist articulation. Articulation, yes, on the waist. Okay, thighs on ball joints. These do have thigh swivel here, as well as knees on ball joints, and feet on ball joints as well, so you get that feet tilt and things like that too. So these are pretty articulated figures, and looking at their sizes, we're used to the Reflector bots being really small, more Legends class style, especially looking at the Scouting Forts bots and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and take the ruler out and get a feel for the size. Alright. and head to toe, it's about 4 3/4 inches. So on the smaller deluxe side, actually. Alright, let's take a look at those. And I have a hard time popping this in, but this piece actually becomes a shield for this guy. It just pops into what looks like the manual autofocus, those settings or whatever, that dial. Yeah, so I have a hard time pegging it in, so I'm not going to spend an enormous amount of time with it because it could be a QC issue on mine individually. But if that's something you see, you know, just know that I also had that problem here too. And it could be me just plain doing it wrong, but I don't know. I don't get it. So yeah, leaving those alone. And then we'll move on to optic zoom, the big guy. Put him in the middle there. And we'll actually stand him straight up for a minute. It's kind of hard to stand him straight up. I'll go ahead and get into that when I review his articulation and stuff. But looking at his height, you'll see he is quite a bit bigger. But his height is head to toe about 5.5 inches. So almost about 6 there. And I mean, you're looking at about 6 1/4 for average Voyager size. So he's tipping that. You know, he's not too far off. In fact, let me go ahead and put the Classics Voyager Prime mode side by side with him so we can see where his height lies. So Voyager Prime he comes up to about Voyager Prime's shoulders. Well, not quite, not gonna lie. There is a big size discrepancy there. So this would be more, these toys would be more between tall and small size deluxe class figures if you're looking at them in comparison to classics. So yeah, I think that'd be a bit better in terms of looking at them. Give me 1 second here. I'll actually take the Classics Bumblebee mold. And that's actually a Classics Deluxe, so you're going to see they're on the taller side of the deluxe figures. So alright, going on with optic zoom here. Taking a look, he does still have the head-on ball joint. He does have bicep swivel, elbow bend, and he also has wrist articulation as well. Okay? So his thighs, this is the one disappointment that he has. He does have waist articulation, by the way. When it comes to his thighs, they are on ball joints, but he has no thigh swivel. And even though he has full pose at the knees and some foot swivel there, he doesn't have actual heels. And you'll notice here, he kind of has a Grimlock-ish look to him. And he also has wings because of the back of the camera that are kind of Grimlock-ish as well. But it leads to a very bad balance issue with him. And without heels, as you can see here, he wants to fall, or the ability to turn his feet around or have that thigh swivel there, it makes him very, very hard to pose, especially in straight up stances, which stinks because you really want to show off the size of this particular figure because he is so big. He's kind of imposing compared to the other two bots. So that's unfortunate, especially, you know, when you do compare to the Scout and Force X figures and things like that. The fact that, you know, even right now I'm sitting here having to do this crap. But especially when you're comparing him to, like, the Scout and Force X figures, which were Legends class figures, but articulation-wise, they were just there. Aesthetic, articulation-wise, I mean, damn, they were like tops. And to get this and have figures that are, you know, standard Classics Deluxe between small deluxe and big deluxe, and not have them have full articulation, that's pretty damn disappointing. So, I mean, it is what it is. Can't do too much about it at the current time, but yeah. We'll go ahead and move on to the transformation and the camera mode, and that's where this thing just really shines. Okay, and looking at the transformation for these guys, it's actually not as difficult as it looks. I was surprised that I was able to get this pretty fully without instructions. Starting with optic zoom here, we're going to just take the gun, And honestly, the most difficult part about transforming this guy is figuring out which way his gun goes when you holster it in here, whether it's one way or another, but that just goes in there like so. Alright, the head goes back. Actually, it goes backwards, then back. And you're going to see, like I said, this is really simple. The waist, swivel that around. Alright, make sure you have the room for that. And you can actually do the legs in one shot, because you'll see how they're supposed to go pretty much right away. But, okay, you'll see that they rotate so that this is facing up. And what's nice is that there is the TFC symbol on front here to let you know that you've rotated the feet in the correct direction, like that kind of deal. So there's that part. Okay, and you just kind of bend them up. Like, simple enough. And with this arm, you kind of just fold it up and over. It kind of snakes itself in, if you want to call it that. And then this back part right there, which is actually the view, it tabs in. Okay, so we'll actually get the other arm adjusted before we do that. And you'll see here, you just rotate this in and rotate that forward. So, simple enough. I mean, everything clicks into place. Like that, you'll be able to tell because it's in place there. Now the back flaps out, and then this connects. Okay. Make sure that I'm connecting this correctly. Okay. Sure that I got that. This is one to give me problems now. Of course, now that I'm transforming it on camera. That's when it wants to go. Fold that over. Fold this up. And like I said, everything just kind of clips itself into position. So, a little bit of force there. Oops. And there's that. Oh, okay. It clips into the side there. You can see it has 2 peg holes and 2 peg holes right here. So, get this back and around, and you can actually see where it's supposed to go in place. And boom, we've got a middle camera part. So, not too hard, not too crazy. Yeah. Alright. And moving that to the side a bit. Now we have these two guys. And these are going to be the exact same transformation animation for AE lock and high reso. So these guys, you just take their heads, turn them around, turn these arms in. These back parts kind of, the crotch flips back. Oh yeah, you have to take the feet and swing those inwards too. Like so. Feet, take that down, swing it in like so. And he folds in half. So, once again, to show you. Okay. And then you just kind of rotate and bend down. So they kind of look like that in the back. And this piece will fold over. So you actually have to kind of put it up and then fold it over. Like so. Okay, there's that. And like I said, of course it gives me a little bit of trouble when I'm transforming it on camera for people. But it's really not hard at all, this one. It's just making sure everything pegs in tight. Because as long as you have everything transformed correctly before you put them together, they're good to go. But let me see what's blocking this here. Because something is keeping it from doing what it's got to do. And is it that? Okay. There we go. It looks like the foot just wasn't in all the way. And taking the arms here, and they just kind of fold up like so. I'll do the other side. Kind of just wiggles in. And boom, boom. Alright, that's one side of the camera. Okay, and same thing with this guy. Fast forward a little bit, since we've already done one of the sides. Okay, I am rushing through this, but I am leaving it open so that you guys can at least see what I'm doing. Don't want to shortchange you guys, but at the same time, I don't want to take an hour to transform a toy that really only takes a couple of minutes. Okay? And that's what I like about this toy, not gonna lie. The transformation, even though it's 3 bots, it's fairly simple once you do it even once. Like, yeah, I'd say a solid once and you've got it. Okay, there's that. There's that. Okay. Now, we have 2 sides and a body. So simple enough. You can tell how this is supposed to go. You can even tell what sides are what by reading. Like it says menu right there on the menu dial. It also says display right here on the dial. Just making sure the words are facing the right direction. You can tell what side they're supposed to go on. Now, since this goes over here, you'll see there's a hole right here that this just pegs into. And boom, you've got that side. This side actually has 2 clips here. And make sure those clip in. Boom, you've got the other side. Fantastic. Now, we still have these 2 pieces, the shield and the backpack. Make sure that you can see those. With the backpack, you just flip these 2 guns down, like shown earlier. And this just clips on. So, I'm going to clip that in. We're going to peg this in, because you'll see 2 peg holes right here. 2 pegs. One up top, one there. There are also 2 grooves on the side here. So make sure that those peg in. Oops, got the back clipped off there. Try that one more time because that really isn't that hard. So we got that clipped in. So I guess I'll hold that down while getting this pegged. And boom, we've got a camera. Haha. And remember this cannon part? Just 2 pegs right there. And make sure everything's facing the right way up, which it is not, so I'm going to try again. 2 pegs. Oops, I had it right the first time. My bad, guys. Thank you for being patient. And boom, we have ourselves a camera, which is really, really cool. We'll even go ahead and zoom into some of the details so you can look at it from top to bottom. See the TFC logo there. But you'll also see a lot of the details of a regular SLR lens, like the focus ring and things like that, like the zoom area. Alright, this would probably be most equivalent to like a 1740 lens in terms of size and zoom. But the autofocus, manual focus, things like that. Yeah, which is cool. You even see the stabilizer or whatever. A lot of people that are used to like Nikon cameras and stuff like that, that'd be the VR, you know, vibration reduction, that kind of thing. But it can't really zoom or twist back down, but it actually pegs or unpegs, and you can kind of zoom it in there. So yeah, I mean, this is very detailed. Taking a look at the back here, you definitely see a lot of features that you do in a camera. And I'm sorry, you know, I'm nerding out big time, but this is a big deal for me. So, you know, between autofocus, manual focus, things like that, the auto exposure lock, which is awesome. And it even has the symbols for whether auto exposure is off or on. A lot of photographers will be familiar with that. And that's a big thing for me. Like, the bot modes are definitely disappointing, but this DSLR mode is just insane, the amount of detail they put into it. Okay? So you'll look here, and you'll see the display, what you want to display on, just if there was an LCD here. The trash button for when you're playing back, as well as your playback. That's so awesome. Then you have the function button, things like that. Yeah, this is just insane. Okay, not really used to a camera with an off and on switch right here, but that's where it's located on here. But what's really cool is just for the different like focus and exposure modes, they do have an actual rotating dial here, which is just great. As well as something that does kind of capture what the slide in for a flash would look like too. That's awesome. White balance, ISO, that kind of thing. It's amazing. As well as having, you know, dials here for the timer, as well as the not exposure, but the f-stop as well. So this is really cool. I mean, this is just a really awesome detailed camera. And in fact, to compare, what I'm going to do is I have the Mrs. Liz's Nikon D40 somewhere. I can't believe I had that right by me. Oh, it's one of the things that dropped in that loud noise earlier. I hope her camera is okay. But, alright. We have an actual DSLR here. The Nikon D40. And yeah, size-wise, it's not too crazy far off. Definitely a more compact sized DSLR, as this is a very compact sized DSLR. But turn them to the side. A lot of the detailing on the lenses and things like that. And looking at the back, even, I mean, a lot of the options and things like that, hers actually has a glove on it. So give me 1 second to see if I can't get this off fairly easily. In fact, I'm going to stop recording. I'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. Sorry about the delay there, but we were just on vacation, and, you know, we had a body glove on hers just to make sure in case she dropped it or anything like that, it was protected. So anyways, just looking at a lot of the menus and things like that, they are similar. Like, you got the menu and the different directional buttons on the side, as well as the auto exposure lock there. You know, buttons are located different, but there's a trash can button over here for deleting pictures, as well as one over there. A lot of these are on, you know, between the info, the different mode dials and things like that. This is a very accurate camera, and even in terms of the dial placement and stuff. Like I said, just very accurate and very, very well done. So, alright, final thoughts on TFC's Photron. I'm going to have to give it a pass. Reason being is that there's already a rendition of the G1 reflector that's pretty much perfection in Perfect Effects Scout and Force X. They're actually coming out with a redeco of those and remold pretty soon in Assault Force X, which are going to carry the more G1 toy accurate colors, the blacks, the grays, and greens, and things like that. The DSLR camera update, it's amazing. That's why I spent most of the time in this review on that. It's about as close as you can get in a toy camera. Also, one thing I wanted to show off here, I don't know how well I can capture it, but this front light, actually, there's a button on there and it lights up. So to me, that's just freaking awesome. But yeah, the camera mode is what really sells it. Unfortunately, I am somebody who displays my toys in bot mode. And in terms of likeness to the G1 characters, as well as articulation and posability as toys themselves, they're just not on. They're definitely a miss in that. And a miss enough for me to definitely recommend the Perfect Effect bots over these. I love their size and the fact that they're an updated more deluxe size and things like that, but at the same time in the show, they were those legend-sized mini bots, which the Perfect Effect bots also, you know, I guess, relay better in the fact that they are legend size. So, like I said, buy it for the alt mode. The DSLR camera is amazing. For a camera enthusiast like me, this is something that I'll have on my shelf in display mode or alt mode and be more than proud of. This is something, this alt mode feels like it was made for me. But at the same time, as Transformers toys, which I normally display in robot mode, I mean, realistically, I'll even take my camera off the stand here and see how much lighting I can get. We'll go ahead and just go with a random area on my shelf, and, you know, okay, I've got classics and things like that. And honestly, how does that look? You know, it makes no sense in alt mode when pretty much all of my collection and displays are in bot mode. So just to use that as an example, you know, it's something that I look at as more of a swag or cool Transformers related item or neat camera toy than reflector. This will never be that G1 or Classics updated reflector for me, which the Scout and Force set definitely is. So unfortunately TFC loses this round, but I do appreciate the fact that they did give us one of the coolest updates to an alt mode that I've ever seen in the Classics line, or Classic style of toys. So, this is TJ Duckett. Thank you for watching another review of mine. See you next time.